these are the sawhorses that I built in my shop. Fortunately, I have a pretty good machine shop that I built years ago. And the way that I put this on, if you see they're cut, the slot is cut smaller than this, so I have to force it down over there. So what I do is I go like this, put it on there. And now it's on. And then I pound it back a little bit so it overlaps just slightly. And then I'll show you what we do now. I won't get in to show you the other one, just show you what we've done with this. The other one I'll do later. But I'm going to drill a couple of holes in there now. The reason I'm drilling holes, I got self-tapping screws, but the problem with it, if you don't drill the hole out first, the self-tapping screws will twist off because they're pretty soft screws. I really should have found some stainless steel ones, but I wasn't able to do that, so I've got some cadmium plated screws that we're putting in here. That's one. I should put the screw in first, but I'll just drill one on this side too. Show you how we're doing this. I'll go down a little bit. If these rust, they may affect the wood too, but I don't think they will. If they do, I'll put some stainless steel ones in later. Most of you know too that if you run the drill slower, it cuts better. If you go wide open or with the thing, it'll kind of slip over the drill won't have time to cut. And it burns out the drill bit if you go too fast. So there's all the way, and that's half speed. As long as it doesn't squeal, you're okay. If you squeal, or if there's no shavings coming out, then you've got a problem. So far there's no, I can't see the shavings because they're in between this here, the PVC and the pipe. Okay, now I'll show you how we put the screws in. And I got another one to do, but I won't go to that right now because I got a few other things I want to show you too. So I need 4 screws, like this. And I usually drop 2 or 3 on the ground, and then Jenny has to pick them up. Okay. Now don't go too tight because then the hole is almost as big as the screw, and I had to do that in order so this would even screw in. Otherwise it breaks the head right off. Ideally, you should put one screw in first so it doesn't move on you, but I think it's staying there pretty good. One advantage of this, I was going to say too, is that it's slippery. The boards, now see, I screwed up on that one. That one did move on me a little bit. Okay, see what I can do to fix that. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I might have to drill another hole. See? Oh, I got it. Have a philosophy. It's BSQC. I mentioned this before. Best, simple, quick, and cheap. The last one, though, the best way to describe it is the B is in best, S is in simple, Q is in quality, and C is in capitalism. Anyway, it's best, simple, quick, and cheap. And you do it the best way you can. And if the best way, like the government does, is very, very complicated, then you go to second best. But you want to do it in a simple manner. And the second best way may be a lot simpler. If the first way is very complicated, go the second way. And the quick, you don't want to just slop it together either. Quick means you get it done as quick as possible in the best manner. And cheap, you do it the cheapest way you can, but it's still got to be the best way. You don't go buy the cheapest material you can buy. You buy the best material at the cheapest cost. That's the way you do that, hopefully. That's the way the Army did it years ago when Patton was running the whole show. He had a four-man crew that was their philosophy, and they got a lot of work done. Interesting. A little history. Now, we go to the bandsaw, which is a sawmill. It's a bandsaw sawmill. This is a Woodland Mills HM 130 Max. So it has some of the features that the 130 didn't have. And I'm going to show you some of the modifications that I did to this. First of all, I built a big trailer for it. I think we have a video of that we haven't shown yet, but we're going to show you that along with this video too. And this is a big trailer made out of mobile home frames and mobile home axles. I shrunk them together. They were like 8 feet long, and now they're 6 feet long, and now they're about 4 feet. But I have a mobile home park, so these are old homes that we tore down. And the bunks are the big thing that I've changed. I want to show you that. I just put these on, and these things, I put these on because with these bunks right here, the thinnest board you can cut is 2.5 inches, because the mill won't go down any lower than that. So the mill stays up 2.5 inches. The saw blade, when you put the mill all the way down, stays up 2.5 inches above this bunk. Okay, so I built these bunks out of 2-inch square tubing, 2-inch outside square tubing, 3/16 of an inch thick. And then I used them, as you can see, for a while without this stainless steel on top. So yesterday I made this stainless steel and put on top, and I found out something that's really nice about it. It's very slippery and the board slides on. Once you get the board on there, you can slide it real easily. And I should show you something else too about how simple it is. I'll get a wrench here in a minute, just a second. Just hang on. I can find my treasure wrench. Remember I said the best way? Simple way. Okay, simple is very important to me. I don't like complicated. So anyway, how simple this is, there's a lock nut here. Got a piece of angle iron on here. That's 4 inches thick, 4 inches this way. And it's exactly, and then I got a little plate on the other side, as you can see right here, that's welded on. And that just slides over this other original bunk. You loosen the set screws, or lock nuts I should say. Loosen the lock nuts, loosen the set screw that holds this, and it's usually pretty simple. And this, by the way, doesn't damage the original bunk, so it doesn't do any damage to the original sawmill bunk. And see, it comes right off. Nothing to it. Very simple. That's a simple thing I was talking about. And when you put this up, this thing slides right into this stop, and this stop right here is lined up perfectly with this stop. So when you put this in, the lineup for the saw and everything is exactly the same as it would be here, but it's 2 inches higher. So as a result, I can cut a board a 1/2 inch thick. The bottom board can be a 1/2 inch thick, where otherwise it could only be 2.5. So that means I can get 2 1/8 inch boards without taking them off and reshuffling everything. I can just cut I got 2.5 inches left on the bottom, I can go right through the middle and get 1 1/4 inch board out of each one. And I still got a 1/2 inch I could go lower if I had to. So this is a great idea, I think. I just come up with this. So these we leave on here, and the only reason that you might have a problem with this is if you get a really large log and the sawmill won't go up quite high enough, you can get another 2 inches out of it if you really need it to take this off and go back to this. And the real advantage of this is someday somebody wants to use this thing and they don't want these, you can just take them right off, and I didn't do any damage to the original bunks. Let me tighten that. I'll tighten that up later. Okay, no, I better tighten it down because I'll forget. And just to put this on, here's how simple it is too. I should show you that. And when the screws in, it doesn't even put a mark on this hardly. So it does. I made sure the bolts were not chewed up on the end. So you tighten it up fairly snug, and tighten the lock nut so it doesn't come loose, and that's it. Same way over here. Whoops. Okay, now you have to look at it and make sure it's all the way down, which it is. You don't want any cracks underneath there. So this is exactly 2 inches plus this thickness of this, which is about 1 mil thick, I think, or it's pretty thin stuff. Actually, I had thicker stuff that would have been better. It would have been just like this. This is thicker than what I've got. But the problem I had, like my little press I got that I homemade bender, wouldn't handle anything thicker than this. This was it. And I also had a shear, and the shear wouldn't cut anything thicker than this either. It's a sheet metal shear. So that's where the bunks are. They really were nice because, oh, these I made too. These are just like the original ones that came with the saw. But the original ones that came with the saw, I'll show you what I did with that. I modified them. So I cut them all down and made put rollers on them. And I painted it yellow, so the yellow side, see if you look at this, it's completely flush on this side. You don't want it here because you want the board to fit on here nice, perfectly straight. So these stick out far enough when you roll the board over, it rolls right down on it. But it also, when it's flat, it doesn't make the board stick out like this side would. This side would make it be crooked. So anybody, when I have my help down here, I make sure they have the yellow side facing you. Yeah. Oh, by the way, when we put this on, it didn't affect this thing at all. These are exactly where they were before. We didn't change anything. Then they go in like this. I gotta put it back where I got it, otherwise I won't know where it came from. And these are just the ones that I made afterwards that look a lot like the original ones. They go either way. I had them on this way because I use these to cut off those PVC pipe. So I put these on, I cut off 2 of them at a time, and had this over halfway up the pipe. And didn't want any higher. I didn't hit it. I did hit one of these. By the way, if anybody haven't hit one of these, they haven't done any sawmilling. So I've done some and hit it. I'm just going to put that in temporarily, okay? Now, I'm going to show you what we did with the saw. The water thing works fairly good. I didn't change that at all, really. It gets clogged up with sawdust a little bit, but I'll show you what I did on the back here, though. Now this, we put this digital meter on here, okay? Now I know I've seen some pretty elaborate systems, but this is, got to remember, this is simple again now. I'm going to put this out in the light where you can see better. Oops, there, I hit it already. I did a good job on that one too. I'm ready to change the blade anyway. Anyway. The digital thing, the pickup is right here, and it runs the wire up and down there, and then it goes down to, this is the sensor right here. So I mounted this right here and put the sensor up there, and you can still use this. I don't use that much anymore because it's so easy to use this digital one, and the digital one measures with thousandths of an inch. Like for example, I'll turn this on if you can see it. You zero it, you're at the top of the board, and say you want a 1-inch board. That's 1.28, so that's just a hair over. It's really hard to get exactly 1 1/4. It just shows you how difficult this is to get it lined up just perfect. So what you do, you got to get it as close as you can, and that's it. What happened there? I got 12 somehow. I'm going to zero this again. I think I'm a. Where's that? Okay, there's 1. 1/105. Oh, it's not working right now. It's really nice when I go to show you it's not working. But you know what's wrong? I think I left it on, and I think it's not working now. That's working. No, it's not working. Well, anyway, it's supposed to work. But that's what I mounted that on. I'll figure out what's wrong with that later. I forget to turn it off all the time, so I think maybe the battery's weak. I'm not sure. But anyway, we put that on there. And then I also, this is a aftermarket thing that Woodland Mills offers, which is raise this up and down, which is pretty nice. I think that helps a lot because I got a bad shoulder, so the cranking is really hard work. So you just mount this on where the crank goes, and it works really pretty slick. But here's what I'm going to show you. It'll only go down. So that's as far as. I guess you could go down a little lower, it looks like here. Anyway, with this on, it's about 2.5 inches. Some reason why I couldn't go lower, I don't know. But anyway, those are a couple of modifications I made. I'm a little worried about why that doesn't work now. But anyway, that's it. I want to show you one more thing we did here. We built this shed afterwards out of used material for a storage shed for this thing. Well, I forgot to loosen this up. You got to loosen it every time too. And I got my little torque wrench. Got that set at 20, but I usually just kind of figure out where it should be. But anyway, I wanted to show you this. This is a little winch I used to have for moving cars in and out of my shed because I restore old cars for a hobby. Now, oh, hit the switch over there, will you, Jenny? Log on here, you run this around like this, pull it up on the top and wrap it around this way and just wind it back up and it'll roll the log. Of course, you got to have your stops here. I usually use the stops with the wheels on it. Then you stand all the way a little bit and you can roll a whole log all the way over. It works really slick. There again, I said I don't have to use the heavy lift. Does that wheel look like it's winding up okay up there? It's cool. Isn't that cool? Over here where it winds up?
Yeah.
Okay, the main thing now to get this thing level too, we got it all leveled up and it works pretty slick. But I got lights on this and tail lights so we can pull it out and put it on the road or do whatever we want with it. And I got a way to tie this down too. I rigged up, I forget where we are here, but we got bolts going through here. By the way, these are 4-inch by 3-inch angle iron that I bought at the Steel Mart. Rather than have them all spliced together, this is one solid piece. And it's laid on top of the beam. And I made, the beam wasn't necessarily straight, but this is. And some of the original ones I discovered, here's one of the original beams right here. I think. Anyway, I cut them down and used them for other stuff because they have a slight bend in them. Kind of lost my train of thought here, what I was going to get after now.
You got a way to keep it straight.
What?
You got a way to keep it still when you move it?
This here?
Yeah.
What do you mean to keep it still?
You said,
So it doesn't shake?
like if you were pulling it on the road.
I got to take these out so I don't hit them again. Hit them twice already.